What's going on, guys? It's your boy TBG. We're back at another video, but in today's video I'm going to be going through another article. Part of our article series, we only have a few left, so count down. But this is another one by SB Nation. I will leave the link to the article down in the description below. And this is about the Steelers versus the Patriots. Now, this was a game won by the Patriots, 27-24. Both teams are now 11-3 atop of the AFC for football. This was a crazy game, and I think this is going to be a rematch in the playoffs. A lot of people don't think that, but I personally do. I think these are two really good teams, but I do think Pittsburgh will have the edge. I think they were going to win by 3 this time around, but it ended up being New England winning by 3, but that is also besides the point. This was a pretty good game. I will not lie. I did not get everything. Like, I didn't watch everything. I was at the dinner at that time, but I did catch the last part, and in the article they did actually touch on that, and I did like that part. And this was not an article about the referees, and I think a lot of people have really made that clear that this was not about the referees, but it kind of was. 3 wins this year for New England have come down to touchdowns that were reviewed, and one of them was a touchback against the Jets. I'm not sure about the other one, but this one was ruled an incompletion by James, the tight end. So, going through a little bit of the stats here, Rob Gronkowski, 9 receptions, 168 yards, 18.7 average yards per catch. For a tight end, that's pretty dang good. You had Tom Brady, 22 of 35, just a tad under 300 yards with a touchdown and a pick as well. Big Ben Roethlisberger, 22 of 30, 281 yards as well as 2 touchdowns and an interception. Le'Veon Bell, 24 carries, 117 yards as well as a touchdown. He averaged 4.9 yards per rush. And Juju Smith-Schuster, 6 receptions, 114 yards, and 19 is average per catch. 2 sacks per each from both defensive respectively. One thing that's always going to be reviewed with this type of series and any team that goes up against the Patriots is basically you have to adjust your game on the fly against them. And I think the Steelers stayed true to who they were, and I don't fault them for that, but I also think they could have went above and beyond, but they didn't. Again, I didn't watch all of the game, but I have rewatched a lot of the key parts, and I do think that this was a pretty good game, and I don't think this is the only meeting. I said in the beginning part of this video, I don't think this is their only meeting. I think they're going to come back and they're going to play each other in the AFC Championship. And I would probably have my money on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I always would. I'm not a big New England Patriot fan myself. I really never have been. Nothing against the team or any of the players. I just personally would rather vote for the Steelers in that game, and basically the underdogs playing New England. Basically, the one thing in this game that could have got a lot more was the goal line reversal. Now, Jesse James, the tight end for Pittsburgh, why you diving for the end zone? That's all I want to know. I get your gravity's going this way, but you got to go this way. I never understood that. Just put your knee down. You're at the 1. What's the difference between you're here and you're here? My hand barely even moved. He started here and there. Literally, they could have ran a whole nother play, called another timeout, and this difference, they probably would have won. Probably would have been 31-27 Steelers with the win, and they'd be 12-2. But that didn't happen. And also with another part at the end of the game, which actually SB Nation covered in the article, and you're going to see that if you click on it down in the description. they talked about that whole last minute. It started really well. Juju Smith-Schuster had a 69 to 71 yard reception through the whole middle of the field. I thought he was going to score, but that's just me. That whole fake spike, only Dan Marino could have done that, and he did. That's why I said that. But I never understood throwing the ball on the 1 yard line. 1 yard. But they were a little bit back. I believe they were the 7, maybe even the 11. It was a good play design if it was executed right. If that makes any sense. It was, and they actually were talking about this. I watched a few videos and stuff like that also besides the article, and they were it was a good kind of decision to catch them off guard, but you can't throw into 5-man coverage. Hayward Bay or whoever it was isn't going to catch that ball. Juju Smith-Schuster actually came into his own in this game. He led them at a receiver kind of standpoint with Antonio Brown tearing a calf muscle, so he will be gone for a couple of weeks. The timetable for his return really isn't out yet. I would kind of expect them to be back playoff, maybe round 2 if they got that bye or they play the wild card or anything like that. I think he'll be back the second week. Don't quote me on that though. For the next matchup, it definitely lights a fire under the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think they could have added this into the article. They could have really made this a little bit more taking both sides. I think they definitely took this the wrong way, the article, and I think they just made it about Pittsburgh, where New England has to grow as a team. I don't think they're a Super Bowl winning team this year. I said in my Carson Wentz video that I said since week 4 that the Saints were going to win, and I still think that. But it definitely comes down to, for me, my sleeper picks are basically going to be Jacksonville and Minnesota, and I'm not going to change that. They're definitely not going to win, in my opinion, but I will stay with either the Steelers or the Saints coming out on top. Marcus Gilbert, the defensive lineman, and Joe Hayden, the beast, Joe Hayden, the cornerback, they did return. They will return this week. Limited reps, but they will get a lot of playing time in the game. Limited reps up until that time. That's really huge for them because this defense kind of giving up 27 points to the Patriots doesn't seem like a lot compared to what the Patriots usually do, but I think they did do a really decent job without them, but getting them back, their corners get stronger, and their defensive line can get more pressure on the quarterback with only having 2 sacks. That really doesn't bode well against the Patriots. I think the Patriots are going to be fine next year. They're not going to win this year. If they really do, they really shouldn't, because they don't have the talent this year. Not knocking them in any spot, but they don't have the talent this year to get the job done. Where I think Pittsburgh basically beats them in that category. The goal line TD reversal, I said it throughout this entire video, that broke maybe the Steelers' chances against being 1-0 in the series. But they'll definitely be fine. I think even in the article they were saying they're going to be fine. They're not going to be a bad team. They may still win. They may lose. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They obviously are going to find a way. Big Ben showed a little bit of mobility and a lot of confidence in his offensive line. His offensive line kind of were getting high on their blocks and protection. But I definitely think that was a really smart job by Big Ben to really utilize every receiver that he possibly could. But using Juju Smith-Schuster was a big factor in this game. The big receiver that he is, the tall, muscular for being a receiver with those long arms. That was a really good move. I'm going to close out this video shortly, but with Antonio Brown being down, they have to look to more receivers. Maybe Bryant, Hayward, Bay could definitely have a little bit else to do. They're going to have to utilize Le'Veon Bell a little bit more. But Brown being out is really going to, I wouldn't say take the morale out of the team, because I feel like they do have they could win their outright next 2 games. I know they play Houston this week. I'm not sure who they play in week 17, but I think they'll be fine, and they definitely put that in the article. This was definitely a Steeler-based article, but I definitely do think they missed the mark on probably putting in New England as well. I think if they would have did that, this would have been a pretty standout article. But that's all for me. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Happy holidays. I will put another video out wishing each and every one of you that later on in the week. But that's all for me. I hope you all have a great holiday season, a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.